Thanks so much, Scarlett. And joining me from the CBOE in Chicago is Scott Bauer of Prosper Trading Academy. Scott, thanks for taking the time as always. And Scott, today, 2,600, the S&P 500 is above it. How important is this?
You know, psychologically it is, and traders, more so the retail side, not traders, really look for those big round numbers. It is encouraging that you see signs from a Citicorp, a JP Morgan, big companies like that, the big banks that did not really have good earnings, yet those stocks reacted positively after initial sell-offs.
Yeah, what do you attribute to that? Is that investors, traders just wanting to be bullish, creating something that's maybe not entirely there?
It's market psychology. Last year the hopes were so big for the banks, and we actually saw really good reports, and yet the stocks sold off. This is kind of that reverse we're seeing right now where, maybe guidance, maybe the expectations have come down so low and these reports have not been great that maybe we're in that scenario right now, Abigail, that bad news is good news.
Yeah, or less bad reports out of those big banks so far.
Exactly.
So, Scott, let's talk about your trade on JP Morgan.
Yeah, it's actually picking up on that. And now that the news is behind us and the risk of that earnings expectation is behind us, I really like the banks moving forward, especially after seeing the reactions to JP and Citi yesterday. So I'm going out about 6 weeks here or so to the March 8th weekly options. I'm going to buy the 103, 108 call spread. I can do that for about $1.50 or so. Right now, options are pricing in a move of about $5.50, $6 to that time frame. So if it's to the upside, puts me right at that sweet spot.
Okay, so that's JP Morgan. Tomorrow morning, Goldman Sachs, and they're a big trading bank.
Yep.
We've had these weak trading results. JP Morgan, the worst in a decade. Very quickly, what do you expect out of Goldman Sachs?
I expect pretty much the same. I don't think they're going to be as bad as actually JP's were. But if they're not, as you just said, if they're not as bad as people expected, I would expect a rally in the stock.
Scott Bauer of Prosper Trading Academy in Chicago at the CBOE. Great insights on the markets, the financials, JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. It'll be exciting to get those results tomorrow.